100 of the best science fiction movies, man, as laid down quite flat by me, your boy C, the host of most of the things right here on the Pop Bringing Network, man. And we're just keeping this train on rolling. We're doing 100 of these, talking about 100 sci-fi movies. Well, I think of the 100 best sci-fi movies, ranked them from 100 to 1, and we're just knocking these bad boys out one day for the first 100 days of 2022. Yesterday, we talked about 36 on the list. 37 on the list was Invisible Man, the Elizabeth Moss joint. Man, what a mindfuck movie. Not like mindfuck as in like, oh shit, didn't you gotta put all the pieces together? Just mindfuck as in, man, this is a situation that I would be horrible at. I would have crumbled in 10 minutes. Great movie if you haven't seen Invisible Man. I suggest you, I implore you to please do so. That was when I was like, yeah, I'll watch it when I get around to it. And then it came out, like, January 2020, February 2020, something like that. Then the world shut down, and I was like, well, I ain't got shit else to do. So I checked it out. Very good movie. Today, we're keeping it in the year 2020, man. Invisible Man was at the very beginning of the year. This one was towards the fall, September, if I remember correctly. Today, we're talking about 36 on the list. Tenet. Which was my number one movie for the year 2020, directed by my boy, Chris Nolan, one of the masters of science fiction, one of the great auteurs of our time, man. Got a whole bunch of good people in there. John David Washington finally getting a little bit of shine in there, up in the forefront, not just in TV, up in movies as well. Robert Pattinson doing a great job. Check out this tagline. Time runs out. F- is what that tagline is. Whack. Horrible, Nolan, you're better than that. Armed with only one word, Tenet, and fighting for the survival of the entire world, the protagonist journeys through a twilight world of international espionage on a mission that will unfold in something beyond real time. Man, I remember all the rumors surrounding this joint when it first came out, like it might be a sequel to Inception and all this, that, and the third. But what we get, man, is such a, like, I love a good movie where I get to the end credits and I'm like, wait a minute, I just got to make sure I play this all the way through in my head to make sure I understand everything that's going on. Certainly didn't understand everything this time out. And I think it is deliberately set in a way that you're not supposed to, which means you have to go see it again. I think Nolan structured this movie in a way to make you go, let me watch this again. Another 1-2 times to make sure I got it all so we can get those return ticket sales. Unfortunately, it came out during a pandemic when, multiple trips one trip to the theater was pushing it, let alone multiples. I'm so glad I got to check this out at least once in theaters, though. I think I might have checked it out twice. Might have been twice. It was twice. I do believe I checked it out a second time with Carol Coles. It's just trippy, man, about a guy that's trying to prevent some shit that goes down kind of in the future, but they kind of have to travel through time backwards to make sure it doesn't happen. We got, just blanked on his name there, Belfast. Hercule Poirot, Kenneth Branagh, there we go. Whew. You got Kenneth Branagh as the villain in this joint, and Nolan has said that he would like to make a Bond movie, and I think that the Broccoli's are wisely never going to let that man near the Bond franchise. So he just kind of made his own Bond movie, and this is as close as we will get to a Chris Nolan Bond movie, because Kenneth Branagh's Andre Sator is very much a Bond-like villain. Where the John David Washington's the protagonist, you call that name Goofy all you want, or the idea of not giving a character a name, just calling him the protagonist, a little bit goofy. Yeah, but he is, in his way, his own James Bond, very well dressed, very smooth, very suave, very calm under pressure most times. It's just a wild, fantastical ride, and you meet all these strange characters like Robert Pattinson's Neil, Aaron Taylor Johnson's, random soldier, cowboy shit. And it's just all sorts of moving backwards and forwards through time, and then seeing an event happen, and then seeing that event happen later on in the movie, moving backwards through time, Whereas the first time you're like, who the fuck is that guy? But when you see it on that second time around, you're like, oh, now I know who the fuck that guy is. Everything feeds into itself. And only Chris Nolan can have an idea for a giant third act climactic battle at a villain stronghold, which is like very late Sean Connery of James Bond, right? I think he had a couple of those. Maybe there was a Roger Moore in there that did it as well. You just got to storm the villain's lair. There you go. His very lair. But having it move forwards and backwards in time at the exact same time, overlapping each other, it's just a spectacle. This movie is one of the definitions of spectacle, I think. And I had so much fun watching this movie the first time, and I still continue to have so much fun. I've seen Tenet like 10 or 15 times. Just because it's one of my favorite. It is my favorite director in my favorite genre, just giving us just a wild, batshit, go nuts movie. Nolan's last movie with Warner Brothers, unfortunately, I do believe. I can't remember where he landed at to do Oppenheimer. That might be Sony, can't remember. But still, I ride with that man and I ride with Tenet. So that's it for number 36 on this list. We'll be back in 24 of the hours to keep talking science fiction movies, man. Until then, you all take it easy and have a good one.